Let's talk EFL regulations and rules when it comes to squad registration. Now, it's been a hot topic of discussion within the Derby County fan base across the course of the last 7 or so days. And it's been a massive discussion because of Derby County's hunt for a striker. Now, obviously, Paul Warne mentioned heading into deadline day that he would potentially explore the free agent market. It has since been confirmed by Paul Warne that there is no space in the Derby County squad. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to discuss to you the rules as I believe them to be. And that's obviously, I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't find the full legislation from the EFL which actually explains the rules. But I've read up a few articles and things like that. And this is what I believe to... And this is what I'm led to believe the EFL rules and regulations are. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for my latest Derby County and EFL Championship and League One content. We've not long hit 1.2 thousand subscribers on this channel. Let's keep pushing for 1.3. You can help me out by hitting that red button and turning on that notification bell. Now, we'll do this while showing the squad depth chart because it's the best way to show and explain it for all of you guys. So, the squad rules are you can have a maximum of 8 loans within the squad, but it's 5 loans within a matchday squad. And then you're supposed to have a maximum of 25 players over the age of 21. And any loan players must be registered no matter the age. Now, a player like Dejon Brown and Jack Thompson don't get registered. Your Jake Rooney, I believe, also doesn't get registered. Obviously, your Bardells, your Stepien Iwumenes, your Lennon Wildens, all them type of players that are playing for the under-21s that maybe don't have a squad number, but they'll all be registered essentially so that they can be involved at any point, but they're not registered. They don't count as a man. Now, if you look at the Derby County squad, we have 3 players over the age of 25 as strikers. We've then got another 4 to add to that list as wingers. So you're then on 7. You've got Osborne, Thompson, Ozzo, Adams, Harnish, Chiwa and Kenzo who all need to be registered, which puts you on, what, 15, 14, 15. You've then got Elder and Fozzie who are both registered. There's 17. Cashin and Bradley, 19. Nelson and Phillips, 21. Nyambi, Wilson and Ward puts you on 23. And then Zetterstrom and Vickers. Now, I would have thought that Luthra would have been registered. However, after reading an article with Lee Curtis and a couple of tweets he put out after, I'm under the impression that Luthra doesn't have to be registered, but he can be registered in an emergency circumstance should Zetterstrom or Vickers pick up an injury or pick up a suspension. Now, the keeper position is sort of a bit of a... It's a specialist position and you can get that sort of special dispensation for that role. But looking at the other positions, this is sort of why Derby County can't go into the free agent market. We have too many players. Now, obviously, the plan for Derby was to let a Washington, a Brown, maybe even a Barkhazen move on, maybe even a Joe Ward move on, something like that, to sort of be able to bring in extra bodies with more quality. However, that obviously didn't happen. And even if we was to release a Connor Washington or release a Tom Barkhazen or release a Joe Ward, it doesn't actually open up a squad slot for us, I believe, until January, because the players can't deregister and go and sign for somebody else. So the player isn't going to agree to a mutual termination anyway. And obviously the club probably aren't going to want to do that at this point. So it's one of those for me where I feel like it's something which Derby County should have thought about. Now, obviously, if you look at the wide players, depending on where Paul Warne is going to class Marcus Harness, we could have 5 players in those wide areas, which is obviously really good for depth and quality and things like that. But you then look at someone like Barkhazen or someone like Blackett Taylor, would it be best bet for one of them to go out on loan and actually go and play some football? Maybe realistically, I think it would be Barkhazen moving on rather than Blackett Taylor. Although Barkhazen's been available more than Blackett Taylor. So when we're talking about the EFL rules and regulations around squads, I feel like Derby County, yes, they brought in 2 good players on deadline day in Marcus Harness and Nat Phillips, who are hopefully going to help the squad. But I think we should have cut our losses with a Connor Washington. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County and EFL Championship and League One content heading your way across the course of this season. Let me know your thoughts on what we're discussing in this video down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next part of this video. That's my personal opinion, because then you have a squad slot open. Now, I believe there is a way in which Derby County can get an open squad slot, but it results in someone essentially getting a season-ending injury. Now, I'm not going to wish injury on anybody. I don't want anybody to get injured because I don't want someone's career to be that way, sort of thing. So it's one of them for me where, yes, Derby County could have the opportunity to bring in a free agent, but it would result in someone getting injured and then us finding the right player and the right player still being available, which I can't really see happening, if I'm completely honest. Obviously, injuries can happen at any time, and it's one of those for me where, realistically, if we was to suffer an injury, it wouldn't be to one of those players that we're worried about sort of being at the club and not playing. It'd be like a Jerry Yates, it'd be a Mendes Lang, it'd be a Caden Jackson, it'd be a Kenzo or someone like that. And then it's sort of like you're not going to find a player of the same quality. You're not improving the squad. You've just lost someone. So for me, it's obviously going to be a big conversation topic, this EFL rules and regulations around squad sizes and things like that. Heading into the window, I believe that goalkeepers weren't registered, but I'm now under the impression that they are after reading, obviously, through everything I've read. I'm not sure which league it is where goalkeepers aren't registered, but there is a league where you don't register your goalkeepers, and that for me is what it should be. I don't think you should have to register a goalkeeper. I think every other position, yeah, but I think goalkeeper you shouldn't have to register, because you never know when everything's going to hit the fan and you're going to lose a keeper. Say a keeper gets injured, then the next game they get an unlucky red card for a decision when they come out to the edge of the box and challenge for a ball, and then you're on to academy keepers, really. And obviously you can get the emergency registrations for the keeper position, but realistically, if you're going to have that available, you might as well just not have to register them. So as it stands right now, Derby County have 27 players. I believe Brown and Rooney don't need to be registered, which puts us on the maximum of 25. We've obviously only got 5 loans in the squad. You can only have 5 loans in a matchday squad anyway, so there's no point in having any more than that. And you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I think someone should have gone on deadline day. Obviously, we did let Tyrese Forner go out on loan, who would have been a registered player, which has probably opened up the door for a Tawanda Chiwa and a Marcus Harness to come in. Obviously, Darren Robinson's gone out on loan, but he wouldn't have been registered. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out for Paul Warne come the end of the season. I say come the end of the season, but really it's come the end of December, because we'll head into January, and I believe some moves will happen. I believe some players will be heading out the door during that January period. I think there's going to be some big question marks over that right-back position, because obviously you've got Nyambi and Wilson, who I believe are the 2 main picks for that position. You've then obviously got Joe Ward, who obviously at the moment, with Wilson being out, he's got on the pitch a couple of times, but not necessarily done a great deal. He's not necessarily had the opportunity to, really. So you have to give him that benefit of the doubt. But it's one of those for me where when you've got 3 really good players in that right back position, and Ward and Wilson can both play further forward. Nyambi can obviously play in centre half. So you could probably keep them for depth options. But I think that depending on Blackett Taylor becoming fit, depending on how well Marcus Harness plays and Chiwa, I think there could be a world where potentially Barkhuizen heads out on loan in January, and maybe even Connor Washington. Now, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments, so make sure you do that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County and EFL content heading your way across the course of this season. Now, make sure you've hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.